Can everyone get to their feet? Everyone. How's it going? Good to see you. Can I have everyone's attention? Can you all? We're going to start the program.
One of the assistants.
I knew I should. Should I tell the ice cream truck to leave, guys? No, I'm just teasing you. It's great to have you join us for the City of Revere's Juneteenth celebration, so welcome everyone. Today we're here to commemorate a pivotal moment in history, the emancipation of enslaved African Americans, and to reflect on the enduring struggle for equality and justice. Juneteenth is a testament to the resilience and the indomitable spirit of the African American community. We are happy to have several speakers with us this evening to share their insights and reflect on Juneteenth. Before we start our speaking program, we're going to take a moment to recognize our elected officials who are here with us today. We have School Committeeman Anthony Caggiano, School Committeeman John Kingston, School Committeewoman Aisha Milbury-Ellis. I see Councilor at Large Michelle Kelly, Councilor at Large Juan Jaramillo, Councilor at Large and aide to Senator Edward Robert J. Hass. And we have Ward 4 Councilor Paul Argenzio. Okay, thank you all for joining us. Have a good day. No, I'm just kidding. So, first, next up, we have a leader working to uplift our city and to honor the legacy of this great holiday, Juneteenth. We have our mayor, Patrick Keefe.
Thank you, Steve. I feel like I'm competing with ice cream on a 94-degree day. I don't think it's fair. Okay, I contest, the ice cream wins. But today is an important day, and we talk about equity in our city. We talk about how to live amongst each other and how to respect all. So I appreciate you putting this together, Steve. But I think about how far we've come, not just as a community, but as a country. And I know that we still have progress to make, but days like today give us an opportunity to really pay homage to some of the people that came before us, and to continue to surround ourselves with people that want to help us propel forward. In my office, I think about some of the equity challenges we've had in our city, and I think back to 2020 during a point of contention in our community, and one of the young women in my office, who may not remember that I remember, her and a group of her friends really put together some serious social justice reform topics in our community and stood out as leaders and young adults, put together a really powerful program. But I want to thank Taylor for doing a flag raising in the city of Revere. I promise you, good weather. Juneteenth is a holiday that celebrates the final liberation of enslaved people in the United States. In 1863, President Abraham Lincoln issued the Emancipation Proclamation, which stated that all enslaved people would be set free. However, this enforcement of the Emancipation Proclamation took 2 years to complete. And on June 19, 1865, Major General Gordon Granger ordered the final enforcement of the Emancipation Proclamation in Galveston, Texas. This important holiday recognized this day We're nearly 2 years after the Emancipation Proclamation, the last of the enslaved Americans were finally free. And I know that we have to think, but were they? Were they really free? And of course, we know the answer to that. Today, the word freedom bears the same weight as it always has, but it's critical for all Americans to live by the true meaning of the word. It's not freedom for some, it's not justice for some, it's not opportunity for some. These lofty terms, freedom, justice, and opportunity, must apply the same for all of us. It must be equally accessible for all of us. It must be protected for all Americans, regardless of who they are and where they are from. Juneteenth is, and always should be, a celebration of life, of freedom, but it also serves us as a reminder of our country's past and an opportunity for us to reflect on how we can become better individuals and as a society and how we present ourselves in the future. Still to this day, America is no perfect union, but we will always be a work in progress. And as individuals and municipalities and as a nation, and as we build our momentum and propel us forward, we're always creating a more just and equitable world to live in. And today, as we raise the Juneteenth flag, let us reflect and remember our country's foundation and the men and women who fought bravely, who fought the world to end slavery. And it was because of those who were before us that we're joined here by our neighbors today in celebration, showing our region in the resilient spirit and inclusive nature of the Revere community. Happy Juneteenth freedom to all. May you have a wonderful day, and thank you for being here. We have a few important speakers that we want you to hear from, and I just want to say thank you.
Give another round of applause to our mayor, Patrick Keefe. And I just noticed another counselor who just arrived, Counselor at Large, Mark Silvestri. Next, we have the spoken word poem. It will be read by Michelle La Poetica.
Let's give her a round of applause. All yours.
Is this hold the mic? Doesn't fit. Hello. How's everybody doing? Listen, I know this heat has got y'all exhausted in capital letters, bold-faced and twinkling and whatnot, but I want you to tell me that you feel good if you feel good when I ask you this question, only if you mean it, all right? So I'm going to say feel great, feel good, and you're going to say feel great, but only if you mean it. Feel good?
Feel great.
Feel good?
Feel great.
Listen, first of all, let me say thank you to this mayor. Thank you, because you showed up and showed out, honey. We got ice cream, we got Misty. We're Misty today, sis. But today is a day where we celebrate and acknowledge and talk a lot about accountability, right? A lot of our townships in this state are in a year of revision, where ordinances and statutes and things like that can be done, over. A lot of these ordinances, statutes, and rules, regulations, and policies have been written long ago with the specific intent to gatekeep and blockade any type of progress for our people. And for our people, when I say our people, I'm talking about everybody that's not rich, especially those of us that have more melanin than most. So, this is a year of revision. Can those in power spare enough change for those of us that are doing the work? For those of us that dare to care, most times giving far past what we can genuinely spare, only to never feel like one is ever enough. Not enough time, not enough money, not enough energy in my spirit, not enough strength in my soul to bear it. So today, I must share it. Because at the end of each journey, at the moonrise of each day, no one should feel overwhelmed, underserved, empty-handed, or ashamed, fully aware that we are anchored in the mundane and monotonous, flying high in the dream of what could be of us. If that forsaken change that has been on its way for so long finally got here. Most days, these days, I just feel like running. Because every day hate gets more cunning and determined to stay. And good folks are choked into silence by their need to survive and never go back to the hell that they pulled themselves from. I have 45 million reasons in dos idiomas to tell you why This poem has just begun. This poem is never ending. This poem goes out to all of those that have spent a lifetime mending from a lifetime of struggle and pain. This poem goes out to all those that want to or desperately need to heal and change. Please do. This is a poem that was written because I have collectively distributed miles and miles of rope, intricate weaving of a diverse and collective grieving for the outright thieving of our most profound hopes. Hopes for our community, hopes for our families, hopes for ourselves and each other. Hopes that this intricate rope is used to bring it all together in solidarity as one real community, because I, for one, am tired of watching it all left hanging to dry or die trying. Hopeless fields of dried up, burnt out, silently martyred strange fruit for lack of solidarity, for lack of unity, for lack of love, honor, respect, transparency, accountability. We need more density in resources, developing expressions now, creating initiatives through your ability to be the change. Instead of hiding behind or hanging onto ordinances written with the intent to suppress, oppress, hinder, and gatekeep what rightfully belongs to all those that fight for what's right. For all. Not just themselves in their pockets. Because poverty, hunger, homelessness, cruelty, wickedness, ego, arrogance, death is not black, it's not white, it has no color. It affects us all. It hurts us all, and the ones dictating how or when we rise prefer to watch us fall. Stay silent or stagnant, quiet, helpless, hopeless, tired, exhausted, way too busy surviving to stop. Now stop. Close your eyes and think of the person or the people that you love most. How would you feel if you watched them fail? If you watched them cry, if you saw them struggle, if you saw them bleed, if you knew that within your reach was the answer to their needs, if you saw them wounded, homeless, struggling with addiction, dodging bullets or getting hit by them, could you imagine the horrors that you see daily playing out on TV happening to them, eyes still closed? Can you hear the children crying? Can you hear the innocent people dying? Can you hear their pain demanding to be felt? All over this world, here in our communities, perhaps even in our own homes. Tragedy, heartbreak, misfortune, and pain, like rain, have no color. Eyes still closed. Can you for 1 second imagine any of those things happening to anyone that you love? No? Then why should it happen to me or mine? Or to anyone? Not here, not in Africa, not in the Dominican Republic, not Cuba, not Colombia, not Puerto Rico, not Palestine, not here, not there, not anywhere, not yours, theirs, or mine. The double standard needs to stop. It needs to end. We need to stop allowing so many young and old of all shapes and colors in all parts of the world to die for the gain and interest of few. Eyes still closed. I will it to the universe that my descriptions have been painted so boldly and loudly from the pen of my experience to the profound depths of your soul that you are now left with no choice but to envision it with at least one of those that you love most. Imagine the many-faced destinies with this egregious manifest destiny, condemning us one by one to death at sea, because the lighthouses, honey, all of us lighthouses are too busy surviving, trying to stay afloat, playing along because they have not had the opportunity they want. Because a paycheck is a paycheck is a paycheck, till we decide to move strategically in love and unity to turn the tides of these opposing sides. And at least one of us, maybe, can reach the other side. Transform into a queen. Check. Mate. So we can then with authority check our mates consistently. Make accountability trend every day. Creative souls, stand up. Own your magic. Embrace your art. Let us truly come together as living souls, setting the overall goal, reaching far into the distance and profoundly into old oppressive views. With genuine, intentional love, light, and unity. Now open your eyes. Wake up. And wake up all others in your midst. The time is running out. Abolish mental slavery. Willful ignorance is not bliss, and neither is silence. And neither of those is key. And neither of those dreadful things, for as long as I take breath, will ever be me. I stand here today in a world filled with labels as a Dominican woman, born of Dominican immigrants that came to this country over 50 years ago. I stand before you as a black woman because that is also part of who I am. Soy bilingüe, hablo español, hablo mis dos idiomas cómodamente. I speak smoothly. I'm an interpreter by profession as well. I am a poet. And I tell you today to take a look around you in this heat, especially those of you that are wearing suits and ties. I applaud you and I thank you and I admire you for being here. You don't have to be here. You could have chosen to be somewhere else. You could have chosen to be anywhere else, but instead you chose to stand here in solidarity with us. That means something. The fact that you and your team pulled this together means something. Remember that when it comes time to vote. Look around you and look at the faces of authority that were elected by this community that are here today, caring, giving a damn, because we are in this fire pit that we're in worldwide because not enough people care. This is an opportunity for us to embrace the change. Look around you, there's all different walks of life. I see beautiful hijabs in this audience. Bless you, baby. Thank you for what you do. Thank you for being here, and I'm sorry for what you have to endure. All of those of you with melanin, I'm sorry for what you have to endure. All of you with a womb, I'm sorry for what you have to endure. All of you that are men in a world that sometimes is cruel because you're taught to be a man, and then you grow up and learn that what you were taught was wrong, and you lose everything because you follow the instructions given to you as a child. I'm Dominican, I know what I'm talking about. As women, we raise men. We have an obligation to raise men better than the ones that hurt us, better than the ones that broke us. We have a duty to be better than those that came before us. We cannot choose to be ignorant anymore. If this heat is bothering you, imagine picking cotton in a field for 18 hours in this heat or worse, without a choice. Imagine getting whipped in your back because you weren't working fast enough in this heat with salty tears, making it worse. Imagine that for a moment. It ain't right for me. It ain't right for mine. It ain't right for anybody. It ain't right for anybody. And until we embrace love and the absolute necessity of unity, egos aside, there is no room, time, or space for egos. And I think those of you that are in suits and ties today have proven that. Thank you for being here in this heat. Thank you to all of you. And take a look around you for 1 minute. There are all sorts of shapes and hues in this crowd right now. You come from all walks of life. Some of you crossed over to here. Some of you weren't born here. Some of us were. Yet we stand here under this blistering sun in solidarity. Let that continue. Make sure that you say hello to people that you don't know. We need to relearn how to be sociable. We need to learn how to be humane and kind to one another. Be human and kind, or humankind will cease to exist. Thank you. My name is Michelle La Poetica Richardson. You can find me on social media under Michelle La Poetica everywhere. This city is to be admired and respected for the efforts they put forward today. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Can I just say, the delivery, the passion. Everyone stand up and give Michelle a round of applause. She deserves it. That was amazing. Our next speaker is not only the first black senator in our Riveras district, but everything she does is effective as far as fighting the progressive battle for equality, inclusion, equity. This describes all her work. Senator Lydia Edwards, please come up and say a few words.
Thank you very much, and hi everyone, I'm Senator Lydia Edwards, and I apologize for being a little late today. One of the battles I'm working on right now as chair of the Housing Committee in the State House is working on a massive $6 billion housing bond bill to make sure that we are housed and that people have the dignity of choice. And that is something that is core to human dignity, is being able to decide based on how you're working and the income that you have to truly have a choice about where you live. Again, my name is Lydia Edwards. I am the first, but I won't be the last person of color to represent Revere in the state Senate. I am honored to do so, and I can't think of, 10 years ago even, the thought of me being the state senator and we're having a Juneteenth flag raising. And I don't know, for folks who grew up in Revere, there's two things that probably never would have come to mind. So on days like today, when we think about what we're celebrating, while it is hot, and yes, we kind of want to get through the comments, it is important to reflect on how far we've come as a city. It's important to reflect on those conversations. We do have a lot further to go, but I want to thank so many of the people in Revere who are working either on the Human Rights Committee, who are working in so many different capacities to make sure that we don't forget how far we've come, and also don't forget how far we have to go. On Juneteenth, we're recognizing it's a national holiday because it isn't just the day that slavery finally ended. It's the day that the United States stepped into its own glory and began to truly fulfill the promises in the Declaration of Independence, right? That all of us are born with inalienable rights for life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And you could not say that without being a hypocrite up until the end of slavery in this country. We fought a war over it, and still in Texas, they kept people enslaved and ignorant. And the connection of ignorance and slavery should not be lost on anyone. There is movements around the country to force us to forget our history, to take away the facts of how we gotten here. And ironically, or actually, literally, they kept people enslaved because they kept them ignorant of the fact that they were free. So on these days of Juneteenth, we need to remind ourselves how deeply embedded our freedom is connected to our education, not just of all the good fun parts about the country, but the struggle, the hard parts, the enslaved parts, but also the fights for freedom. And there are many, many, many heroes. We should think about this particular city in Revere and the heroes when we were celebrating them on Memorial Day. There are people who came from Revere who fought in the Civil War, who went down to free slaves. We stood on the right side of history. This city did. This state did. And we have a monument dedicated to the 54th Regiment. We should remind ourselves that those fights continue and that they came from us. We won that war. We have it within us to fight collectively, together, and consistently against racism and oppression. I'm proud of that. We should be proud of Revere. We should be proud of the fights that we take on, and we shouldn't be afraid to take on others in the future. Difficult times are not the problem. Weak people are. We are not weak. So on June 19th, this Juneteenth, and those Juneteenths into the future, we will stand in our strength, we will stand in our honesty, we will have those difficult conversations, the HRC will continue to grow, our commitment to diversity, equity, and inclusion will continue to grow, and we will continue to be the great shining city on the hill. Thank you so much. Happy Juneteenth.
Give a round of applause to our state senator, Lydia Edwards. Okay.
Oh, sorry.
Without further ado, let's start with our first speaker, Nicole McLean. Nicole has a bachelor's degree in early education. She recently received her master's degree from Boston College in educational leadership and policy. She is a wife, a mother, and she is a veteran, having served 11 years in the Army National Guard with 2 deployments to Iraq in 2004 and 2008. She is a community advocate and an entrepreneur, and owned a home-based early education service for 6 years. Nicole is also the founder and president of North Shore Juneteenth Association. The NSJA is a nonprofit organization with a mission to create awareness about the Juneteenth holiday, educate the broader community about positive aspects of the African American culture, and to work toward dismantling racism, using events and programming as a tool for change. Her organization has collaborated with many other communities and organizations to produce positive outcomes. Nicole also was just elected as Lynn's first black counselor at large. So let's give a loud round of applause for Nicole, who has been a voice and a force for positive change. Nicole McLean, please.
Hello, everyone. I just want to say thank you to Steve for putting this all together, and thank you to the mayor for being here today. Thank you to Lydia Edwards for saying a few words. I'm happy to be in Revere. This is our first time collaborating with the city of Revere to raise the Juneteenth flag as with North Shore Juneteenth Association. So I want to welcome you all. Before I begin, I just want to point out what the flag symbolism is and why it's red, white, and blue, the star in the middle, and all of that. So the flag is red, white, and blue to prove that Black Americans are Americans. That's why it's red, white, and blue. The star in the middle harkens back to Texas, the Lone Star State, because that is where some of the last emancipated Black Americans learned of their freedom. There's a burst on the outside of the flag, and that represents a new hope, new beginnings, as does the horizon in the middle, separating the red and the blue. There's a horizon that's also symbolism of a new beginning for Black Americans. So when you see that flag, it's good to know what all of that symbolism means behind it. So please leave here with that today and teach people that probably aren't aware of that. So it was on June 19, 1865 in Galveston, Texas, when our enslaved ancestors learned of their freedom, 2 years after the Emancipation Proclamation was signed. This delay in justice reminds us that freedom and equality has never come easily to the Black American community. It is and has been a struggle painted across the vast canvas of our history, marked by the sweat, blood, and tears of those who fought tirelessly so that we could stand here today. As we commemorate this milestone, let us not forget the deep valleys our forebears had to traverse, from the shadows of slavery to the trials of the civil rights movement. Each step was met with resistance, yet with each challenge, there were victories. And with each victory, our nation moved closer to its foundational promise that all are created equal. However, we must acknowledge that the specter of racism still looms over us. The systemic injustices that have plagued our society must not be ignored. Pivotal moments, such as the Compromise of 1877, which marked a profound reversal in the progress toward racial equality, haunt us today. 1877 was a time that tested the fabric of our nation, revealing the depths of division and backpedaling on the promises of Reconstruction. In the aftermath of the Civil War, our nation sought to rebuild and unify, but the Reconstruction era ended, an era that held the promise of justice and equality under the law for newly emancipated Black Americans, who until then had felt injustice under the law. It was a moment when the forces resistant to change, those unwilling to accept the full humanity and citizenship of African Americans, began to reassert themselves with devastating impact. The withdrawal of the federal troops from the South as part of the Compromise of 1877 effectively abandoned Black Americans to the mercy of white supremacist governments. These governments swiftly enacted laws designed to strip African Americans of their rights, marking the beginning of the Jim Crow era. The promises of democracy were deferred as segregation, disenfranchisement, and racial violence took hold, setting the stage for decades of systemic inequality. As we reflect on this day, let us renew our commitment to fighting prejudice and inequality in all its forms. It is imperative that we do not forget the lessons of 1877, and we remain vigilant to maintain the progress of the civil rights movement. Let us educate our children about the complexities of our past so that we can forge a future that truly reflects the ideals we hold dear. As we celebrate Juneteenth, let us do so not just as remembrance of past sorrows, but as celebration of progress and a reaffirmation of our commitment to continue the work left unfinished. Our journey is far from over, but together we can achieve the dreams deferred but never forgotten by our ancestors. Please join me in recognizing North Shore Juneteenth Association, an organization I created and am proud to be a part of. We continue to spread awareness of the Juneteenth holiday and positive aspects of Black American culture. Follow us on social media at NS Juneteenth, and please make a donation of your time, talent, or treasure to this organization. Find out more on our website at nsjuneteenth.com. Thank you, and may God bless you in our beautiful journey forward.
Our newly elected counselor from Lynn knows how to do a plug. She's learning quickly. It's my distinct pleasure to introduce our next guest, Dr. Lorenzo Garcia. He's a nationally recognized educational leader. Oh, this is a long introduction, Dr. Garcia. You might as well have a seat. He's an educational leader with over 26 years experience in teaching, research, and leadership. Dr. Garcia holds a degree in military science, applied linguistics, and urban education from institutions in Ukraine, Cape Verde, and the United States. He has transformed 2 urban high schools by innovating instructional practices, improving educator growth, and increasing graduation rates, sending countless students to college and post-secondary programs. Dr. Garcia has authored several books on transformational leadership, including contributions to 5 practices for improving the success of Latino students in the human side of change in education. He co-authored a chapter in the School of Opportunity on equity-oriented school climate transformation. Under his leadership, Revere High School earned the Best Urban High School in America and the Schools of Opportunity National Award. He has received numerous accolades, including the 2017 MAPS Community Service Award and the 2019 Massachusetts Champion title from NESSC. Currently, Dr. Garcia serves as the Assistant Superintendent and the Chair of the Equity Advisory Board for Revere Public Schools. His expertise spans diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging, equity audits, educational leadership, and more. What doesn't this gentleman do? Dr. Garcia is also fluent in 6 languages, where it is an asset for the city of Revere. So without further ado, Dr. Lorenzo Garcia.
Good evening, everyone. I don't have a speech. I'm going to talk to you in a very thank you. I'm good, thank you. So, talking about slavery and talk about Juneteenth deeply touched my soul. And the reason I say that is because throughout the 16th century, Cape Verde was used as a trading route to America. Out of 16 million people, or slaves, that were transported from Africa to the Americas, I'm not just talking about this country, I'm talking about South and North America in general. 1/3, about 35 million of those slaves came to America. So imagine in America, the U.S. alone, we got about 4 million slaves, and that's 1/3 of the slaves that came from Cape Verde. I was born and raised in Cape Verde, a country that certainly was populated by many slaves that were brought from Ivory Coast, Senegal, Guinea-Bissau, and many other countries. And those same slaves that were brought to Cape Verde, that gave the birth of the Cape Verdean people, were brought to the U.S. and spread out, working on cotton fields, sugar cane, and many other parts of the U.S. So I talk about these things because certainly it's deep sound. It is part of my roots. It's part of my identity. One of the things that I always say to many people is that we can meet in events like this. We can certainly talk about Juneteenth. We can certainly talk about celebration of Juneteenth. But one thing I'm very, very interested in is to look into systemic practice. In other words, the framework that really organizes the structure of this country, that it is what it is today. So you cannot talk about celebrating Juneteenth, getting a lot of people, clap and certainly celebrate, which is also part of this process, without really looking to policies and practices that continue to oppress and deprive people from many opportunities like housing, getting access to higher education, and so on and so forth. So that's where we should put a lot of emphasis. And also we need to put a lot of emphasis on changing mindset. Changing mindset comes with training, with preparation, with work with ourselves and the work with our community. It cannot be done without that. So as we celebrate today, certainly, it's an important day today. I always, when we do things like that, I would like to ask everyone to stand and give a 1 minute of silence to really remember those who really perished working for the structure that we have today, which is an America that is a little bit more compassionate, America that has more freedom, certainly. We have come a long way trying to really break the cycle of oppression, but those cycles of oppression still continue to hunt us down. So we need to come together and think about those things because those are important. Certainly, I'd like to ask to reflect, stand up, reflect about those who have perished or died to support the structure that we have today, the freedom that we acquired today. So that's important. Let's give it up 1 minute of silence. Thank you. I also, a few days ago, I think the mayor was part also of that field trip. We went to the Romney Marsh burial ground a few days ago, where we have 16 black, some were freed, others were still enslaved. They were buried in that cemetery, right here. I would invite everyone to go there, pay their respect, and see the graves there, because that's important. Connecting to our local history, which is part of our cultural heritage, is important. And today, around 8 p.m., I invite you to watch a video that the Revere TV put together for us. And certainly, we brought a lot of kids there, a lot of adults, to really learn and connect to the local history. So I just want to thank you for being here today. I just want to also echo the sentiment that many people have already echoed. The mayor of the city of Revere for his effort to really diversify our city, to build an equitable structure, and also to make sure that practices and policies that we have in place continue to be dismantled, and more opportunities and access to resources are created for Black, Latino, and other identities. I'm talking about not just African Americans. I'm talking about Latino, the Hispanic, the LGBT community, and many other identities in the city, so that the stereotype that they're still facing get eroded, dismantled once for all, so that we can build a more inclusive, a more equitable city that represents all race, ethnicity, and culture. So one thing that has been actually already addressed, I want you to take 1 minute again and reflect when the Emancipation Proclamation was signed and went into law in especially in those rebellion states that we know, and Texas was one of the last bastion. I want you to think about when that declaration was announced, and the other 2.5 years that spent, many slaves in Texas continue to be incarcerated and deprived of freedom. Just think about that for a minute. It's very powerful, and really, if you think about it, it's certainly something that touches you. You have the rest of the country embarking on the proclamation, emancipation, and you have one state with over 250,000 enslaved African Americans still jailed and not heard about the Emancipation Proclamation. It's something that really, when I think about it, you try to connect, you make a trip or a journey in history. It really amazes you how a part of the country was able to really get rid of, in theory actually, of slavery, because practice still continued, and another state where this practice continued. It amazes me all the time. And I cannot thank the U.S. Army enough for going and basically freeing those slaves, because that was certainly an important step to take, and actually something that was needed. So I just want to thank Steve Morabito for organizing these events, Mayor for being here with us, members of the public, Senator Liz Edwards, our city councilors, and the Human Rights Commission members that we have here, for being here tonight, this evening, certainly, because certainly it's an important day for America. We have come a long way, but there is more way to go, and we are not there yet. It is a conjugation of efforts, and that will lead us where we need to be. And that starts with changing policies, changing practice, making sure that the policies that we have in our city hall, in our schools, are not colonized. We're talking about decolonization of those certain practices that continue to hunt us down. And we have a long way to go. Look into language that we have in our student handbook, language that we have embedded in our policies, to make sure we get rid of those things. I'm certainly there are many cities, and Revere probably is part of that as well. We still have some language that we need to get rid of. So let's work together towards a better city. Let's work together towards a better inclusive environment that is not just for few, but for all of us. Thank you for having me today.
Okay, thank you to all the speakers for your inspiring words. Now that we're coming to an end of this program, I do want to acknowledge that the Revere JROTC could not, they are away, they could not be here, but we have the Lynn JROTC, our neighbors, here. So let's give them a round of applause, along with Sergeant Jose Bito. So thank you. Can I have, when I call your name, if you can come to the front of the podium. Rose, Linda, Taylor, Claudia, Asma, the reason I'm bringing these ladies up here, because the mayor already had his powerful recognition. My God, I still can't get over that poem. It was amazing. These are the ladies behind the scene who work day in, day out for diversity, equity, and inclusion. It has been an integral part of making sure and supporting my department. And is Jessica here? Or no? Well, these, we also have Jessica, Lena, and Maria. So let's give them all a round of applause. They're behind the scenes and they've been helping out. You guys can have your seats. Thank you for, I know you guys don't like the spotlight, but we appreciate the work you do behind the scenes. That's a politician in me that I'm walking away from. No. So honestly, so now what we're going to have, the moment we've been waiting for, we're going to have the Juneteenth National Anthem sung by Martina Campbell, and then we're going to have the American National Anthem played. So let's please welcome Martina Campbell. And the flag is to my left, your right.
Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring. Ring with the harmony of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling sea. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us. Facing the rising sun of our new day begun. Let us march on till victory is won.
Let's give a round of applause. That was Lift Every Voice and Sing. Thank you, Martina Campbell. Beautiful. And now we're going to play the national anthem. Thank you, everyone. Honestly, it means so much for each and every one of you to turn out today. You're sending a powerful message. Let's continue this tradition each and every year. Let's give yourself a round of applause.